Hey, what's up guys? Thomas back with another LinScents video. Today we have a fragrance from Burberry, but before we get into that, just want to say thank you guys. Again, it is an honor to be playing on one of those electronic devices. Whether it's that cell phone, that tablet, that laptop, that Macintosh, that brand new big screen TV, whether you watch me at home, at work, on a plane, a train, or an automobile. Maybe you're watching me at a restaurant right now. I don't know. And if you are, hopefully the company that you're with is excited enough so you're not watching me. But if you are, man, kudos to you. Watch me before you get that bread. Watch me before you get that beverage. Watch me before the bill shows up. Who knows? Wherever and however you're watching me, it is an honor. If you guys are new to this channel, you like what you see, hit the subscribe button, comment, and like. Likes are very important. Likes are important for this channel's growth, and this channel is growing ever so nicely. And I can't wait to see where this channel is going. Okay, man. Actually, a fortune cookie today said something is coming. Just stay ambitious. Whatever your endeavors are, just stay ambitious, stay positive, stay humble. Didn't say all that, but it said a couple of things similar to that. I'm just rephrasing what they said. But again, you guys are awesome. You guys are the reason why this channel is growing, and you guys are the reasons why I keep putting out videos, man. And especially, a lot of these videos, a lot of these YouTubers, I mean, they're getting all these views, and I don't want to sound like a hater, but it's like all they're doing is just recycling their videos, pretty much. They're just rewording their videos to make it sound like it's something different. My top 10 all time, top 10 panty droppers, top 10 this, top 10 that. And it's like they're just rewording something. Maybe they'll exchange one fragrance for another just to make it seem like the list is different, but in the end, most of the fragrances are the same. Now, again, I talk about the same fragrances a lot of people talk about, but I do it in my own way, okay? Again, I don't like comparing stuff here because, again, most of the time if you're comparing something, you probably already have something that smells similar. Even if you have a Chanel, Bleu de Chanel, okay, you might have a fragrance that smells somewhat similar. It might not even be a clone, but it smells similar, okay? So, there's no need to do this all comparisons, or else we'll just, it'd be no need to have all these fragrances. We're going to be comparing everything like that. Just take these fragrances for what they are. Now, again, I did say this is a Burberry fragrance. Man, honestly, I think Burberry is one of the most underrated houses when it comes to fragrance. And I believe they are underrated is because, I mean, if you think about it, you go into a Burberry store, okay, you can go in there and get a scarf that's going to cost you about $200, okay? I don't think you can even go into a Burberry store and get something for less than $50. And a lot of their fragrances, if they're not part of the higher end lineup, they're usually cheap. You can find them anywhere for really cheap. I mean, even if you go to TJ Maxx, the Burberrys are usually the cheapest of all the, the designer fragrances that they carry. You can find Mr. Burberry's there. Sometimes you find Burberry Touch, you find the original Burberry, and it's usually cheap. But if you go look for like a Mont Blanc Explorer, it's always expensive, $60. You go on the discounter sites, and you usually find the Burberrys for cheap. And this is one of the Burberrys that I've always wanted to smell. Now, when it comes to Burberry, I mean, you got a lot of bangers if you think about it, like classics. You got Burberry Touch, you got the original Burberry, you got Mr. Burberry, you got Mr. Burberry London, you got Burberry Brit, you got Burberry Beat. You got so many iconic Burberrys. Again, it's just, I don't know what makes them so honestly underrated. I mean, Burberry, you got Carolina Herrera seems underrated. Azzaro seems underrated. Now, Azzaro's kind of coming up, especially with that Wanted lineup. That I think that kind of really just, put them in the mainstream. I was always thinking of Azzaro as like kind of a lower designer mid-tier, but man, with that Wanted lineup, that kind of took them here to this next level. So maybe Burberry needs that one designer fragrance that says, you know what, we are here. Maybe is that Burberry Hero? Because there's some people that actually love Burberry Hero, but I thought Mr. Burberry would have been it because the bottle was nice. Then you had like two other flankers, but they just stopped at that. I think they should have kept going on with the Mr. Burberry. But Anyways, this is Burberry Weekend. Now, I've always wanted this one. Didn't know what it smelled like. The original Burberry is pretty much like similar to the Carolina Herrera for men's. Got that nice masculine kind of citrusy, that cedar, that nice wood scent. Mr. Burberry, the Weekend. I've never smelled this one. Always wanted it, but it just never got it. Got this one off of fragrancebuy.ca. If you guys know, that's the Canada fragrance site. Go check them out. Again, fragrancebuy.ca. I mean, when it comes to, you know, besides like eBay, which is one of my favorite shopping sites to get fragrances on, if it's not that, fragrancebuy.ca is, to me, pretty much the top of the line. I mean, you can do Fragrance X and all that, but I think Fragrance Buy is the top. Cream of the crop, okay? But here we go. I think I got this one for like less than 30 bucks. This is a 3.3 ounce. Now, again, this is one of those fragrances that sometimes you see at the rack stores, and sometimes they overprice it. And that's probably why I've never really got it. But I finally seen it for a price I was willing to pay. And again, I think it was like less than 30 bucks. It might have been like 27. So I was like, let's get this bad boy. Again, you got that Mr. Burberry Weekend. It's kind of got that plaid. I think kind of what makes Burberry famous is that plaid look, that iconic plaid, which they have on purses and all that other junk. I don't know about nothing about Burberry. I ain't got nothing about Burberry, but there we go. Nice, basic, simple bottle. Okay, got this nice round bottle. You got Mr. Burberry right there, Burberry Weekend, and then you got for men. Okay, so honestly, I didn't even look up the notes. We're just gonna go into it with a open mind. I like the cap. Cap is very nice. It's not, I mean, it feels like a piece of plastic, but it's got a decent weight, but it's like, it's not like squishy, okay? So you can't like just crunch this up, okay? So it's a nice cap, okay? And then I do like that atomizer. It's not one of those junky looking silver ones. It's kind of got that gray silver, that brushed silver, if you think about it. Anyways, let's go over here. Let's spray it. Again, never smelt this that I know of, unless I've smelt it on someone. I just didn't know what the hell it was, but ooh, nice and green. It's kind of got this nice green, earthy smell in the air. Definitely getting some citrus, but definitely nice and green. Oh yeah, that's bright. That's citrusy right off at the top, okay? Bright, bright, bright. Maybe some lemon, maybe some bergamot, maybe some lime, who knows? Maybe all three. Maybe there's a little bit of mandarin in here as well. It's kind of got this little touch of sweetness, like it would be like a lemon head or something like that. Just a touch. It's not overly sweet. Definitely kind of getting this almost like grassy. Again, that green that I just said in the air, kind of get this green smell. Could be maybe some kind of coriander, maybe some basil, maybe some kind of green herb, okay? It's definitely got that herby smell, which honestly, I think herbs and fragrance, especially like the green, fresh herbs like the rosemaries, the basils, the corianders and stuff, those are some of my favorite notes. The green herbs kind of just gives any fragrance that nice masculine smell, if you ask me. This has that, definitely has that, some kind of green note in here. Man, this is definitely a nice masculine green, fresh, again, earthy. Just a slight little bit of woodiness in the background, okay? Again, that could be cedar, could be sandalwood, could just be, hell, it could be a 2x4 in there, I don't know. Anyways, there's definitely a little bit of woodiness in there. But again, for the majority of this fragrance, you're getting that citrus, you're getting that green, you're getting that nice earthy woodiness, okay? Again, it's not overly done just yet, that wood, but yeah, that is a nice green smell. This just, honestly, this has that kind of, and I think this fragrance came out sometime in the 90s, so it's pretty old nowadays, 90s. You think of the 90s and can't believe it's literally like almost 30 years ago. Once we get to the year 25, you go back to 95, like when all the hip hop was out. It's literally like 30 years ago. That's crazy to think that. But this fragrance definitely has that nostalgia smell to it, especially for those fragrances that came out in the 90s. You got Tommy Hilfiger, you got the Nauticas and stuff like that. You got the Guess and stuff like that. This definitely takes me back to those high school, those cool 90s, where I think 90s and the early 2000s, late 80s had the best music genre and stuff. This just takes you back to that era, that 90s, that 80s, kind of early 2000s. Again, citrusy, woody, green, earthy, masculine, great fragrance. Again, you got to kind of like that green, okay? I personally love a green fragrance. If you think of another iconic green fragrance, you think of Polo Green, that the original, that one that kind of smelled piney and earthy and stuff like that, woody. This definitely has that, but it has that nice blast of citrus up at the top. So it kind of, you know, if you're not too much into those super woody fragrances, if you add a little bit of citrus, where the citrus is kind of main star and all those other notes kind of take the back seat, kind of makes it a little bit more appealing to those people. But man, I actually like this fragrance, especially for one of those 90s fragrances. This is actually a beautiful fragrance. Now, is this gonna knock off someone's socks? No. Okay. Is this gonna wow the misses? Probably not. Okay, but it is definitely gonna be a nice, people-pleasing fragrance. You're not gonna offend anybody with that one. Smells great. Again, another nice, decent pickup from Mr. Burberry himself. Well, I don't think it's the guy's name, Burberry. I think that's just the name of his thing, but I would just call him Mr. Burberry anyways. But this is Mr. Burberry, The Weekend. Okay, nice, citrusy, green, earthy, woody. Okay, that's what you get with that fragrance. That's what I like. I like it. I like it. It's definitely a thumbs up, especially if you can get it for a good price. And again, if you like those style of fragrances, okay? Citrusy, green, woody, kind of earthy. And there you go. So, hopefully you guys learned a little bit of something. And again, yes, I know, I've seen the comments. You need more than just like 10 minutes to know if you like a fragrance. Yes, that is true. That's very true. Especially with a fragrance that you hate right off the top. But usually, I haven't found too many fragrances that I love so much at the top that there's something in the mid dry down that I don't like. Most of the fragrances that I have, I pretty much, you know, if I like them straight from the top, I like them straight through until the end, okay? It is those fragrances that you don't like at the top, but then later on, they kind of settle down and turn into something else. That's the difference. But if I like a fragrance straight from the smell, straight from the get-go, I usually like it. There you go. Burberry Weekend. I'm getting up out of here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. And if you guys did, hit the likes, comment, subscribe. And we'll see you next time. Peace. Yeah.